held black folks back and failed to give us the access that we deserve. Until these politicians stop ignoring these egregious acts of hate and racial incidents, America can never be great again.
Catch Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace every weekday from noon to 1 p.m. on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app.
Day one, diagnosis day. The hardest day. The day you hear,
I'm sorry, this is a type of blood cancer.
But day one is just one day. At the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, we are here to help you move past day one.
On day 45, I discovered an online community who shared great tips for in-treatment care.
I missed a lot of school during treatment, and LLS helped me keep up.
We are here for you. We exist for everyone fighting leukemia, lymphoma, myeloma, and other types of blood cancer.
On day 105, LLS helped me file my insurance claims properly.
Day 5,840 and counting, and I'm still in remission.
To learn more and get help on day 1, day 2, day 983, or any day, please visit LLS.org or call 1-800-955-4572. That's LLS.org, 1-800-955-4572.
Get the truth and nothing but the truth with Sherwin Hughes every weekday from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. on 1017 FM, 1510 a.m. WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station.
It's time! It's time! It's Beta time!
You are watching a master at work.
Truth Nation, get ready for the greatest 60 minutes in radio, giving you his authentic and bold opinions, bringing you all the information, entertainment, and conversations you gotta hear. From local issues to trending topics and headline news, it is time for Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on the award-winning 1017 The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube. Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is your award-winning host, Kyle Wallace.
Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I am your host of Truth to Power, Kyle Wallace, and we're coming to you live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. You can watch and stream us live on YouTube by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. That is 1017 The Truth on YouTube. You can also download the 1017 The Truth app by going to your Apple Store or Google Play Store. I don't know what y'all got with Apple, but I got Google. The Google Play Store to download the award-winning 1017 The Truth app. Make sure y'all go ahead. If y'all moving around, moving and grooving, make sure y'all go ahead and y'all open up that app and you make sure y'all stream us live on the app, the award-winning 1017 The Truth app. If you want to chime in on today's conversation, 833-212-1017. Because today I am excited. I'm going to be joined by Mayor Johnson. Now, earlier in the week, y'all might have heard me say something about the fact that I had put in a request for Mayor Johnson. I hadn't heard back. Well, I heard back yesterday afternoon. I was in the middle of doing my other show on ESPN, Kyle Bruston Norman, and I got an email back from the mayor's office saying that he was interested in joining me for an interview, and he said we can do it today at 9 a.m. I said, bet. Let's do it today at 9 a.m. So I had the opportunity to be joined by Mayor Cavalier Johnson earlier today, Truth Nation. And let me tell y'all going to be able to watch it and see it. If I look crazy in the video, I have not seen the video because I was just doing what I'm supposed to be doing. If I look crazy, please excuse my craziness. But it was a great interview. It was a great interview. Y'all know I'm very tough on our politicians here. And you're going to be able to hear this interview shortly coming up here in a couple minutes. I'm tough on our politicians. But I had a couple takeaways as I was listening to him speak, and I can hear something, right? Something that was interesting and different is that he was speaking with more conviction and speaking with more confidence, and I can tell that he's growing into his role as being the mayor here in Milwaukee. Now, I tried to, again, I'm not going to attack nobody, but I tried to ask some of the questions that y'all had, because last week we had a discussion talking about formerly known as the Office of Violence Prevention, but the Office of Community Wellness and Safety here in Milwaukee. And we talked about that process of how did Adam Procell go from not even applying for the position to all of a sudden being selected as the leader of the formerly known as Office of Violence Prevention, but now known as the Milwaukee Community Wellness and Office of Wellness and Safety. Now, the community was outraged and upset, but see, the community wasn't the only ones upset about this. You also had Common Council President Jose Pearce, and then some other aldermen like Scott Spiker and Robert Bauman, who took exception with the process of selecting Mr. Procell as the new leader. And so it was, he addressed it, and let me tell y'all this right now. I give him credit because he addressed it head on, and what I realized is there may be a little bit of tension between Common Council member Jose Pearce, and I should say Common Council President Jose Pearce, and Mayor Cavalier Johnson. And honestly, I ain't mad about it, because you'll hear in the response, you'll hear in the answer, Cavalier Johnson was standing on business, and I give him credit for that, because those two are high-ranking officials in our city, and I don't want them to have the same exact vision. I don't want them always to be in lockstep, because I know at the end of the day, they both have the same desire for our city and for our city to be great. That's what I know to be true, but I don't want them to agree on everything, because what that means is you have to have compromise. You have to have tough conversations, and so I'm excited about that, because you can just sense some tension. But also, Truth Nation, I asked them about the National Guard, because as we have seen in the news, and we talked about it right here on Truth to Power, we talked about the fact that the Trump administration has called out cities that have a majority black population. He has called out cities that do have high crime, and he has called out cities that have black mayors. He has called out these cities and said he will send in the National Guard to them. And I said to Mayor Cavalier Johnson, I said, listen, we're a majority black city. We check that box. We have high crime. We check that box. And you are a black mayor. What would be your response if Donald Trump said he was sending the National Guard into Milwaukee? And again, he did not back down. He answered the questions, and so I give him a lot of credit, because y'all know I'm hard on him. I give him credit. I say he's a great man, and I say he does a good job with the whole city of Milwaukee, but the north side of Milwaukee he struggled on. I asked him about that as well. He addressed that too. So Truth Nation, make sure y'all go ahead, and if you got to get out your car, download the 1017 The Truth app. If you can, go ahead and go 1017 The Truth on YouTube, because you will hear the conversation here on your radio as well that I had with Mayor Cavalier Johnson about a lot of different things happening in the city, from FEMA assistance to what he plans to do for the black community, and how he felt about the selection process of Adam Procell as being the Office of Community Wellness and Safety, the new leader of that office. So I'm telling y'all this right now. That interview is coming up in a couple minutes, so keep it locked. You're listening to Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace. And when we come back, we will speak with Mayor Cavalier Johnson about the state of our city and what his vision is. This is a good one, y'all.
More of Truth to Power is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The pulse of the Milwaukee Bucks, straight from a Bucks legend.
Can't get it off. Marcus Johnson will, though. Can't leave him alone for a 12.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson on Bucks Plus. Marcus and his son Chris offer a weekly beat on Bucks basketball. Get your questions answered and hear from the biggest names in basketball. Find Here District with Marcus Johnson at bucks.com/plus on the Bucks app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Protect your dream home with American Family Insurance, and you can weather any storm. You'll save up to 25% by bundling home, auto, and life. American Family Insurance. Get a quote or find an agent at amfam.com. Product not available in every state. Discounts may not apply to all coverages on an auto or home policy. Discounts do not apply to life insurance policies. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, assigned as operating companies, American Family Life Insurance Company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
It's 1017 The Truth. Dr. Ken Harris for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. It all started with a new invention in 1925, the roll screen. The ability to roll a window screen up and down like a shade. Pella invested in this breakthrough when the business was born in Pella, Iowa, and has introduced the world to innovation, game-changing decisions ever since. They've been at it for a century. When you want long-lasting comfort and reliability, it's easy to trust Pella. Every piece is specifically constructed for you and your home, and always designed with innovation and rigorously tested for quality and performance. The Pella team takes pride in constructing quality windows and doors with meticulous attention to every detail. Investing in new Pella windows and doors creates long-term energy savings and durability that lasts for years. There's no reason to wait, because if you order by August 31st, get 0% interest for up to 60 months. Certain restrictions apply. Yes, that's up to 5 years with no interest payments, so don't miss out. Visit PellaWI.com today.
This is Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
This is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. You can always watch and stream us live by downloading the 1017 The Truth app or watching us live on YouTube. And now I am so excited to be joined by Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson. Thank you so much, Mayor Johnson, for joining Truth to Power today.
Hey, Kyle. Nice to be with you, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I just want to get right into it. There has been a lot of conversation over the last week plus now about your appointment of Adam Procell as the new leader of the Milwaukee Office of Community Wellness and Safety, formerly known as the Office of Violence Prevention. What about Adam Procell's resume made you believe he was the right leader for the job?
Well, a number of things. Adam has really an incredible life story that I think suits him well for this opportunity in this position at this time. I think over the course of the last week or so, Adam's been out talking with folks in the community, doing interviews. Folks have gotten the chance to know him. There will be a forthcoming town hall meeting, so people can get the chance to know him as well. But for those that don't, Adam, when he was a young man, a teenager still, was involved in a gang and actually killed a rival gang member and was sentenced to a lengthy prison term. He spent nearly a quarter century behind bars, and when he got out, worked to turn his life around, which he certainly has done, working to build stronger relationships with the community and law enforcement and others. In fact, the very first time that I met Adam, many years ago, well before I was mayor, and well before he even thought about serving in this position, I met him on the north side of Milwaukee at an event that he was hosting, working to break bread with folks who had been formerly incarcerated and law enforcement officers. Now, not seeing each other as criminals or former criminals or police officers, but seeing each other as human beings and working to make sure we bring the community together that way. That was my first introduction to him, some time ago, and he's only worked ever since to keep building community connections. And so I think those things and others make him a pretty good fit for this role this time.
Well, I love to hear that, and I'm sure the community loves to hear that as well. And he officially started his role. And what would you say would be the top two priorities you expect Procell to address as the new leader of the Office of Community Wellness and Safety, Mayor?
Well, the first role and responsibility is going to be introducing himself, which, as I mentioned, he's been doing in media appearances and having conversations with people. And I've been very pleased to hear that even people who may have been critical, not of Adam necessarily, but of the way that he was selected, have had the chance to sit down and talk to him. And having the opportunity to do that, even if they had some concerns, they've left impressed and have left hopeful about what Adam will be able to bring and do in this office. And I think that's important, and that's a good thing. Next thing I think is continuing the critically important role that the Office of Community Wellness and Safety plays here in our community. I think not just in Milwaukee, but in cities and communities all across the United States. It's 2025, so we know that police officers of and by themselves cannot be the be-all, end-all to the issues that we have around public safety. You need preventative measures in place, too. And that office here in Milwaukee, our OCWS office, has to focus in on that. And I think that's what Adam's number one goal is going to be in this new job.
You kind of alluded to it before about the appointment, and some people having some pushback, right? And it bypassed the Common Council confirmation, which led to many people questioning the process and claiming maybe you skipped some steps here. But the Common Council President Jose Perez, Alderman Scott Spiker, and Bob Bauman, they seemed a little blindsided by your decision. Perez went as far to say the selection process was flawed. What would be your response to their disappointment in the selection process?
Well, there was no bypassing of the Common Council. In fact, this position doesn't need Common Council approval, so therefore there is no bypassing of the Common Council. I don't believe that it was flawed, and if it was flawed, people who suggest that it was, particularly the Council President, did not say how it was flawed. Just mentioned that it was, but did not explain how that actually was. There was a process here, and I can go through it. So first and foremost, as I mentioned, it doesn't go to Common Council approval. This was simply the mayor's choice in the first place. Number two, the safety roles that we have, the chiefs of the major public safety departments, the fire chief as well as the police chief, they go before the community with community meetings before their selection. That wasn't typical of the Office of Community Wellness and Safety. And as mayor, I said that since we're doing that with the police chief and the fire chief, I'd like to try to do this with OCWS to bring more community voices into it. And so we did that. We had a process that actually was followed. We had a national search. We had nearly 100 candidates. Those candidates were distilled down to 3 finalists, of which I was to select 1. Of the 3, we engaged in very, very serious conversations, with who I thought to be the best candidate after the town hall meetings with all the candidates had concluded. Ultimately, what happened, though, was that the leading candidate decided to not take the job. After all of that, after going through the whole process, all the interviews, the multiple interviews, coming here, having those community meetings and stuff, and having very serious conversations with me and my staff, decided ultimately not to take on the job. And so during that process, the community started asking questions and informing my thoughts on this, and Adam's name began to emerge in this process. And so that's when ultimately I ended up having to pivot. And that's exactly what happened, and that's how we ultimately ended up with Adam. Of course, I had previous knowledge of him, as I explained earlier, but that's essentially what happened and how we got here. Just because, ultimately, when it came down to the 3 finalists, there was a change in the desire of the number 1 finalist to not take the job.
I appreciate you with the clarity because I think a lot of people don't know that. So I appreciate you, Mr. Mayor, for actually bringing some clarity to that. And you mentioned before, since Adam Procell did not have the opportunity to go to the community and participate in a public forum, when do you plan on having him to have a public forum for him to meet the public?
We're working on that. That will happen soon. I don't have a date to share at this moment, but we certainly will do that because I thought it was important to do before, and I think it's important to do now. And Adam knows that that's something that ought to happen, and he's looking forward to having that conversation as well. I think he's even mentioned that he's willing to answer every single question and be the last person that leaves out of the room. So we're being totally open and honest and transparent in this process. Ultimately, though, it's my responsibility as mayor to select the best person for the job, right? And that's exactly what I feel like I've done with Adam. And I think, over time, when folks get the chance to know him, when they get the chance to see what he's able to do in this job, I think folks will be pleased with the work product that he produces.
Yeah, I love his backstory, and I'm for one, I didn't know who he was, but I will say, based off his past life experience, I think he definitely is a good selection for the role. Now, you did ask the community to trust your judgment on this one, and I know last hire of Ashanti Hamilton didn't really work out. So why do you believe the public should trust you on this one?
Well, Ashanti didn't leave the office because he wasn't working. Ashanti left the office because, quite frankly, in government, the salaries are not necessarily as competitive as they are in the private sector. That's well known. And he had the opportunity to go on to a more lucrative position in the private sector, which I don't fault him for. And so that's ultimately what happened with Ashanti. It's not that there was a dismissal of any sort from me or anything like that. he was presented with a better opportunity. He's got children who are in college, and he took on that opportunity, and I don't fault him for that. I thank Ashanti for his work.
We are speaking with Mayor Cavalier Johnson here in Milwaukee on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. Again, thank you so much for joining us. And I want to switch gears now because violent crime in Milwaukee is down this year, but homicides are up. We have also seen some high-profile crime this summer, specifically on Water Street, but also we have seen police chases tragically end, sadly, here in the city of Milwaukee. What ideas do you have, Mayor Johnson, that have gone through your mind on how can we curb and stop some of this violence?
Yeah, no, I appreciate the question, and I am very pleased that over the course of, and thank you for reporting it as it is, right? Just the sheer facts, right? Because I think that's important context. Crime in Milwaukee overall is down. In fact, from this time last year, it's down, I believe, about 17%. 2 years ago, about 20%, and since I've become mayor, about 25%. And I think that's really, really important context. Homicides are up a little bit in Milwaukee, and that's a problem, something that I'm acutely aware of and focused on, and so is the Milwaukee Police Department. And quite frankly, so too is the community. And I often say, as I said in this interview earlier on, that the police of and by themselves can't solve this, and by this I mean homicides that routinely are committed with firearms, unfortunately. That takes community intervention. It takes folks in the public to work with us in order to make sure that folks don't get access to guns who shouldn't. It takes state law changes and federal law changes to stop individuals who should not have access to firearms as well. So outside of police and outside of prevention, we work to make sure that people in this community have access to good-paying, family-supporting jobs. We're working to make sure that folks in this community have access to housing that is affordable, to take some of those stresses off. We work in this community to make sure that young people in Milwaukee have access to caring adult mentors, people who care about them, to show them the right way so that they're in a better position to excel when they get into the classroom and go off to college, and then ultimately become productive, contributing members to society. So those are some of those things. As it relates to what's gone on in Water Street, we've been very concerned about that. Had a press event some weeks ago about just that, and outlined a number of things that we would be able to do in order to crack down on some of the bad behavior that we've seen on Water Street over the course of the earlier weeks of the summer. And some of those things has been successful. The past couple of weekends, we've had pretty quiet nights on Water Street.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. Now, I have to ask you because you see it kind of going on in D.C., and now you see the mention of the deployment of National Guard in Chicago isn't too far from us, and there seems to be a trend of who they're looking to go after is majority black cities, that's Milwaukee, cities with crime like Milwaukee, and black mayors like yourself. Would you be open to the president sending the National Guard troops into Milwaukee to help MPD fight some of the crime?
No, if you look at some of the reports or talk to some folks who are aware of the morale of members of the National Guard who have been deployed from states with Republican governors to Washington, D.C., they have very, very low morale. They feel like they're being used as political pawns. I think you kind of actually saw that in the way that soldiers were marching during the parade, the military parade that the president commissioned on his birthday, allegedly to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the United States Army, but on his birthday. It was a birthday parade. No, I'm not interested in that. We have local law enforcement for a reason, and that's exactly what the Milwaukee Police Department, the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office, other agencies in our city and region and state are for. We don't need the U.S. military to have boots on the ground in American cities. That's not their mission. That's not their calling. I really respect the military. I've got family members who have served in the military. And the critical role that they play for the safety of the American citizen. But their mission is not here. It's not in cities. It's defending Americans abroad. And the National Guard can be useful in other situations that affect communities like, unrest or floods or things like that. That's not happening in Milwaukee. It's not happening in Chicago. And I think the president's wrong to be seeking to deploy the military in American cities for that purpose.
Again, we are speaking with Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson here on Truth to Power on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. Just a couple more here for you, and just talking about overall performance and job performance. And I want you to be honest. How would you grade your performance as the mayor of Milwaukee? Because I tell people all the time, listen, I keep it real with everybody about people's performances, and I tell people all the time on my show is that you are the mayor of Milwaukee and not the mayor of just the north side of Milwaukee. And so when I talk about that, people sometimes get a little upset. And I say you've done an above-average job, but how would you rate your job performance so far, and what have you delivered for the black community?
Well, I mean, I think there are a number of things that we've been done to find success in Milwaukee. I mean, again, if you go across this city, not just downtown, but in Bronzeville, if you go down to Walker's Point, you'll see development that's happening. You'll see a new library that's rising on MLK Drive. You'll see more businesses that have selected Milwaukee, creating more opportunity for people who live in Milwaukee. The school year is getting ready to start, so a fixture in classrooms will be the mayor talking to especially young men of color, young black boys in Milwaukee, to let them know that regardless of the circumstances you find yourself in, regardless of what neighborhoods you find yourself living in, regardless of the challenges that your family may face, you too can find success. Because I lived in those neighborhoods and faced those same sort of challenges, and I'm working to inspire those young people. You'll see that a couple of years ago, and this is the fourth year this has happened, we've created a new program that's come out of the mayor's office called Camp Rise, positively impacting the lives of a whole host of young people of color, and it particularly started with young black men. And now we've expanded it to girls, too, to make sure that they stay out of trouble. In Milwaukee, you'll find more partnerships that are happening all across Milwaukee. You'll find a city that actually did not go into bankruptcy after really decades and decades and decades of approaching that cliff. We did not do that because I was able to make difficult choices, hard choices, and go in and work with people who don't see eye to eye with me politically, but able to secure wins for the city of Milwaukee in the process. So I think the city is in a stronger position. I think the city is in a safer position, as we discussed earlier, and I think that we're in the process of becoming a more prosperous place as well. And I think, if you look across the country nationally, as I do, Milwaukee's stock, in a way that it hasn't before, is really beginning to rise. And that has to do with the work that we've done to grow our hospitality, tourism industry, the things that we have hosted here in Milwaukee. If you go and you look at the publications around the United States, Milwaukee's name is coming into the mouths of more and more people across the country, creating more of an eye here. So this is becoming a city that people want to stay in. This is becoming a city that people want to come to as well. And I think that spells benefits for the entire city, but specifically for the black community too, because more people staying here, more people having access to good homes, more people having access to good jobs means more dollars circulating, means more business for black businesses and opportunities for black people. So I feel really, really good about where we're going, and I'm encouraged to continue doing the work that I have been doing over the course of the last few years as mayor.
Well, I just want to continue to have you fighting for specifically black Milwaukee, because we are the majority population. So anything and everything you can do to uplift this community, I'm standing behind you. Last one, Milwaukee was devastated by floods August 9th and August 10th, and Tony Evers recently just did a declaration asking for the president to give some assistance to the community like Milwaukee County and Waukesha, Ozaki, who are all impacted by this flood. How optimistic are you that our community, which was impacted by this flood, will see any FEMA assistance from the federal government?
At the end of the day, politics being aside, the people who are impacted in Milwaukee and the region are American citizens, right? So that should be the baseline. This is not a political conversation. This is not a race conversation for the president who ultimately has to decide this. This is about serving Americans. And so I'm hopeful. I'm very, very hopeful, because it's the right thing to do, that the president of the United States will make the decision to declare the major disaster in Milwaukee and provide FEMA assistance to people in Milwaukee who need it, but particularly, as you talked about, Kyle, on the north side of Milwaukee. I mean, when we talk about that being a 1,000-year flood or a 1,000-year experience, that happened on the north side. It happened on the northwest side at Terman Airport, where the rain gauge there recorded over 14 inches of rain. That's more rain than we get in a summer that fell in a singular incident, and most of that rain fell in black neighborhoods. So we really need that support. We really need it in black neighborhoods, and I'm going to do whatever I need to do in order to secure the resources that we can from the president.
Mayor Johnson, there's no way that Ozaukee County or Washington County or Waukesha County can get aid, and we can't, correct?
Ultimately, it's the president's decision. From what I understand, and I don't know all the details here, they said that Washington County, that also suffered some damage here, would not get something, is what I understand. Apparently some choices can be made and some choices could not be made. Ultimately, though, it's the president's decision. And I was saying, like, whatever I have to do in order to get resources for Milwaukee, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Ultimately, it's his decision, but if I, have to make decisions in order to get that resources within reason, I'm not going to, do things like agree to have the National Guard or ICE, patrolling the streets or anything like that. But if we have to do some additional work in order to convince the president to get resources to black people in Milwaukee and to Milwaukee generally, then that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Well, I appreciate you, and keep fighting the good fight, brother. I appreciate you so much. This is Mayor Cavalier Johnson of Milwaukee joining us here on Truth to Power. Thank you so much for joining us today.
All right. Thank you, Kyle.
Again, that was Mayor Cavalier Johnson joining us here on Truth to Power on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. And woo! He came with some conviction, man. He was standing on business, especially with Jose Perez and Donald Trump. We'll break it down, all coming up next. 833-212-1017. That is the Truth Talking and text line. I want to get your reactions to Mayor Johnson joining us here on Truth to Power. We'll have that next. Keep watching us and streaming us live on YouTube. But in 3 minutes, we'll be back, and I'll take your calls and your texts about the interview with Mayor Cavalier Johnson.
Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and streaming live on 101.7 The Truth on YouTube. Marquette University High School football lives here. Catch all the action of Hilltoppers football on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. Tune in this Friday night as the Hilltoppers travel north to take on the Fond du Lac Cardinals. Join our coverage starting at 6:30 p.m., leading up to kickoff at 7 p.m. Marquette University High School football is presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. And sponsored by Left's Lucky Town, CJ Schmidt, Capital Insurance Agency, Boyle Fredrickson, Annex Wealth Management, Magic Productions, and Burghardt Sporting Goods. This is your Versity Blood Center of Wisconsin Community Impact Moment on 101.7 The Truth.
What was the life change? We all know it happened, and we know things happen, and you have bad kidneys, but what was the life change afterwards?
A couple things. Before they even allow you to get on the list, they make you go through a battery of tests. And, a lot of people don't qualify because they're overweight, or they have high blood pressure or high cholesterol. So all those things are requirements before you can even get approved to be on the list. So I had...
Wait, you got to be approved to be on the list?
Absolutely.
Wow.
It's interesting. There's a professional athlete or former professional athlete I know right now that has kidney disease, and he's on dialysis. And he wants to get on the list, and he's not accepting all the things you have to do, to get on the list. But yeah, so for me, I spent 30 years in the automobile industry. That's 12, 14-hour days, eating whatever somebody brings you to eat, whatever you run out and grab, McDonald's, whatever. It was never salads and,
Yeah, but that was a choice, right?
It was a choice. Yeah. But I had to change all of that to even qualify to be on the list. I had to get down to the weight I had to be at. I had to get my phosphorus under control, my potassium under control.
Wait a minute. Even though somebody said they would give you a kidney,
absolutely,
you had to still make yourself eligible?
Absolutely.
Nah, that's okay.
When I mentioned the athlete, his relative actually died, and they wanted to take his organs, and they couldn't because he wasn't qualified. He wasn't on the list. Wow. Yeah, you have to be.
So there are over 100,000 people on that waiting list. So they are very serious.
And how many donors do we have?
And that's the problem. We don't have nearly enough donors.
Wow.
And that's why it's such a critical need. But they are serious about who they're giving that gift of life to, because there are so many people who are literally dying waiting for it.
To make an impact by donating blood in your community, visit versity.org today.
This Associated Bank Sports Update on 101.7 The Truth is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Brandon Snide. Milwaukee Brewers' 2-game winning streak came to a screeching halt. They fall to the Arizona Diamondbacks, this one by a final score of 3-2. The good news for the Brewers, they still enter the day with a 6.5-game lead in the National League Central as the Cubs fall to the Giants once again. Tough news injury-wise, though, for the Milwaukee Brewers. All-star closer Trevor McGill hitting the 15-day IL list with a flexor strain in his elbow. He expects to be ready after that 15 days is up. And lastly, we'll head over to the NFL as Week 1 approaches for the Green Bay Packers. According to ESPN Wisconsin's Jason Wilde, wide receiver Jaden Reed dealing with a Jones fracture in his foot. However, the wide receiver plans to be ready for Week 1 against the Detroit Lions. The sports update brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams. Member FDIC.
It is Truth to Power on 101.7 The Truth app, and streaming live on 101.7 The Truth on YouTube.
One call, that's all, with Gruber Law Offices. If you or a loved one is ever injured in an accident, do not hesitate to make one call, that's all, and Gruber Law Offices will take care of you. They focus on the legal aspect so you as a client can focus on healing. It's just one call, that's all, and they'll handle the rest. And like I always tell y'all, there's no fee to call to consult with them, and you never pay a single penny until they win your case. So get with the team that has the results that speak for themselves by visiting Gruber-Law.com. That is Gruber-Law.com, or making one call, that's all, to 414-276-6666. That's 414-276-6666 is one call, that's all, with Gruber Law Offices. This is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. And that was an interview with Mayor Cavalier Johnson. I thought it was insightful. I hope you thought it was insightful as well. But I'm going to be honest with y'all. Very honest. I think he's becoming his own man. But also, I see the good and I see the bad. Right? And when I say the good and the bad, I see the good because with the conviction that he's speaking with, as if Donald Trump tried to put the National Guard here, he would push back. 833-212-1017. You can call in, text in, and give your reaction. Also, you can watch and stream us live on YouTube by going to 101.7 The Truth on YouTube. That's 101.7 The Truth on YouTube. And I like that. I like the fact that when he talked about Jose Perez, I like that. And at the end of the day, like I said, I think that Mayor Cavalier Johnson as a whole, he's doing okay. He's doing C. But he's not doing good enough. But I have reservations. I have reservations because when I asked him the question, and somebody, again, on YouTube said he was tap dancing. He was dancing around some of the questions. But the one thing that I noticed, because, again, even though I understand his job is the whole entire Milwaukee, it is not just the north side, it's not just the 40+% of the black population, which makes up the city of Milwaukee. But I feel that he didn't have a good enough answer about investment in the community. Right? It's one thing to talk about investment, but what I would have loved, because remember, he gave an answer talking about the kids and the programs that he has, right? To help the youth. But he didn't say we have these projects that are happening on the north side, northwest side, or north side of Milwaukee in order to get employment. He said he wants employment. And he talked about how in downtown we're attracting different conferences that put a spotlight on Milwaukee, but none of that talks about direct impacts on a day-to-day that's going to put money in the pockets of people every single day. See, investing in the city of Milwaukee and increasing the tax base is great because it does help with providing services. But providing services isn't the key thing that we need. That's important. We need the basic trash pickup and all that. But I want to reduce the amount of people that need to get housing vouchers. I want to reduce the amount of people that need food stamps. I want us to talk about what industries are we bringing? What companies are you talking to that's going to bring industry to the north side of Milwaukee to allow for more folks to get hired? So that was the thing that was missing for me when I hear about him talking. Now, again, I like the fact that he said he's not willing to sell the city out when it comes to FEMA. And that's another interesting thing that we need to keep our minds on, is the fact that it seems to me that he's preparing himself for Trump to play politics with this FEMA money. He's the one that said, I'm not willing to accept troops in order to get FEMA money. If Donald Trump plays with y'all money and plays with our money with FEMA, that should raise a red flag. But overall, again, I think it was informative. When we talk about Adam Procell, I think we got enlightened, because I personally did not know that Mayor Cavalier Johnson didn't have to do the open forum. That was something that he wanted to do, and he didn't need the Common Council. When you look at reports and you look at what Common Council President Jose Perez said, he said that, it's something that comes out of our budget, as in the sense of what they accept in the budget. They are supposed to be able to have a say. So again, I'm just looking at this from the perspective of the fact that I think Adam's going to do okay, but I'm not standing behind him, but I'm also not going to get in the way. And it seems to me that the mayor is a little irritable about the fact that people still have questions about that, and he said that was my decision to make. 833-212-1017. Again, that is the Truth Talking text line. You can call in or you can text in with any comment that you have about the interview. I see y'all on YouTube, 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Y'all going crazy. There is also a poll on 1017 The Truth on YouTube that I would love to hear from you all on, is what grade would you give Mayor Johnson? What grade would you give Mayor Johnson as the mayor of the city of Milwaukee? An A, a B, a C, or a D, or an F? That's what I want to hear from you all. 833-212-1017. Al in Milwaukee, I'm sure you have a lot to say about Mayor Cavalier Johnson.
Well, the only thing I was going to mention is these baby casket potholes, the $2 million from NPS going for a dog park that has nothing to do with education on the north side. And if I'm not mistaken, didn't Ashanti Hamilton get caught lying, saying he talked to a black family, but when a white woman called, he called back 10 minutes?
That was something from the Tory Lowe show. I do recall there was something there.
I'm just, I'm just kind of confused, but yet amused, So I guess, hey, $2 million for books going for some four-legged dogs that squat when they urinate. But the thing is, how you going to talk about the north side if you use the north side as a pity party? I'm from 53206. But do you see any new construction coming on the north side? But I forgot, they're not white. That's only if it's, over there when, Walnut turns to Pleasant. Oh, but it stopped at North Avenue. Okay, bye-bye, because I don't see nothing coming north at North Avenue. Okay, bye-bye. Watch out for them baby casket potholes.
He said he put a library on Locust with some housing.
Oh, but that's over there with low income. We'll be looking like Rockford in a minute. All we need is a little trailer park, and we'll be Rockford in Freeport, Illinois. Okay, bye-bye. Well, but you know what? The EBT and the little Fast and Friendlies and the JJ Fish is going to really profit. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, Al. I appreciate that. Hell no. Keep them trailer parks away from the north side. That's the last thing I want. I want no trailer parks. Keep that away. Give me low-income housing over trailer parks. Them trailer park folks be trashy. 833-212-1017. We had Mayor Cavalier Johnson join us today on Truth to Power, and we're taking your reaction to the interview, to what he said, to his vision of Milwaukee, but also you can grade Mayor Cavalier Johnson on how you think he is doing as the mayor. Quick conversation about Ashanti Hamilton. I did think it was interesting with Ashanti. He took the money. He took the bag. I ain't mad at him. Do what you want to do, man. Security Mike, you're on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. What are your thoughts on this conversation about Mayor Cavalier Johnson?
Well, I'm glad you got a chance to talk to him. I don't think he wanted to go on the other host show, so he came and talked with you. And I get a man to see because he only came as far as Brownsville and then the new library with apartments or whatever. I'm over that way on Fifth and Hadley is where I stay. So, but this is close proximity to downtown. He needed to go more and more into the interior of Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
No, I agree.
The changes and stuff we need on the outskirts like that is so close to downtown that okay. But I give him a C, and we'll see what happens with this. If Trump's going to release this money for the flood victims or not. But I got my fingers crossed because I got an uncle in that they basement and
flood.
It's horrific.
Security Mike, thank you so much. I'm right there with you, and I hope he releases his funds too. But I want it to be understood, as it coming from the mayor's mouth, is he doesn't want this to be about politics, but he sounded apprehensive that politics may end up playing a role. I hope not. But if he said Washington County, he said he's heard stories that Washington County that did get hit pretty bad didn't get funds. That makes me weary that we may not get funds as well, but I'm holding out hope because, like you said, that was a 1,000-year flood disaster that we saw here in Milwaukee, and we definitely need some of the funds to support us. I feel bad for folks in Washington County because, they had to literally release water from the river in order for the water to recede in Germantown. And so it is tragic, and it's disappointing that Washington County may not be getting funds. 833-212-1017. Again, that is the talk and text line. Here on Truth to Power, you can watch and stream us live on YouTube as we react to the interview with Mayor Cavalier Johnson. Allen, Sherman Park, you want to talk about business development on the north side?
Yes. So I'm looking at this like a city developer, and we're competing against, say, Oak Creek, Waukesha for new business development, a factory or a new office park. What area on the north side would you select as safe and desirable to place a factory or a business park, and you don't have to invest in a lot of security?
I mean, you put up a big old fence, it's going to be a lot. I mean, the northwest side of Milwaukee, for sure, you can definitely do it, especially when you're talking about over there on Brown Deer Road in that area. You don't have to invest in too much security as well. I'm sure also, I don't know if there's plots of land over there on Valete, like, 50-something in Valete and over in that area. I'm trying to think of some more open land that they may have outside of that. But even on like 35th and Capitol, that area, I do believe if you put some, you had a business there before in the past. All you got to do is put up security fences. There's businesses all across the city that have security fences, and you ain't got to have extreme security. So I think there definitely is some areas. Now, you're right. Definitely is a little bit more peace of mind in Oak Creek than it is Milwaukee. But still, at the end of the day, there's a lot of workforce that can be had from the city of Milwaukee as well.
Yeah, and your tax base might be a little lower out there, too.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Al. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. 833-212-1017. We're having a conversation talking about the mayor's interview here on Truth to Power. He talked about a myriad of topics, from Adam Procell to Trump potentially trying to send the National Guard and what his reaction would be. And also we talked about, violence here in the city and what he's going to do to stop it. Is he delivering for the black community, FEMA assistance? Just so much that we touched on. Larry in Milwaukee, how do you feel about the Adam Procell hire? Larry, you going once? You going twice? Put Larry back on hold. Christina in Milwaukee, how do you feel about the Larry Procell hire?
Yes. Before I give you that response, can I give a shout out to the chatters in the YouTube?
Of course.
Y'all.
Yeah. What up, Christina from the YouTube 1017 The Truth on YouTube? Give us a like, give us a subscribe, and give us a share. Go ahead, Christina.
Yes. Okay, so this is my thing, because maybe I missed it. What is the job description of this wellness and safety position, dog?
To be honest, to be honest, I don't think he had there wasn't much of a job description. He talked more about him. To be honest, that's a great question. I should have really asked him because I asked him what the priorities were, his top two priorities were, and one of them I didn't really like to answer it for one of them because he said his priority to get to know people. To hell with that. I want him to get straight to work. So to be honest, they're not to prevent violence. I think they're to be in the community to try to build bridges in the community and to be able to connect the police department with different community members. So, to be honest, I feel like it's one of them roles that he get to figure it out as he goes along.
Well, can I just say this?
Yes, you can.
Even if that's the case, he should have been ready on here to expose exactly a layout, because he know we are really dying to know what is the blueprint of this man that we know nothing about. You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree, Christina. I agree, and thanks for the call. And my biggest pushback, and I thought he did a good job in the sense of maybe I just like the fact that he stood on business and he spoke with conviction, because I enjoy a leader who actually has confidence. And one thing I do realize is that I don't know exactly what the overall vision is. I think he's more reactionary than he is planning, and he has some different ideas. But I don't know if the mayor has a vision. But I will say this, is that I know the mayor cares about Milwaukee, and I know he wants what's best. I think what he did on Water Street was phenomenal, right? I think they were able to clean up Water Street. So reacting to things, I feel like he's done a pretty decent job at. Murders had been trending down here in the city of Milwaukee. Crime is trending down. So, again, he's getting a C from me. I thought he spoke with conviction today, but I still do have concerns about delivering for the black community outside of programs, education, and services. I'm talking about economics, what he could do, and I do think there's some gaps there. But again, he has some more time to figure that out. 833-212-1017. One last time, Larry in Milwaukee. You're on the award-winning 1017 The Truth.
He stepped out for a minute. All right, here he come right now. Here he come right now as we speaking. Here he come.
Oh wow, Larry got a whole crew on the phone, huh? So I guess what's happening, Larry?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Here you go, right here.
All right.
Hurry up and tell me your thoughts. Larry Milwaukee.
Hey, Larry in Milwaukee. Yeah, Larry in Milwaukee. What are your thoughts, brother?
Man, my thoughts is, when Mayor Cavalier first started and he was trying to get elected, he sitting on his brother. You know what I'm saying? His brother, they all grew up on the east side with us. He was trying to get elected. They brung up his brother's case about how he sold drugs and all that, and that man disowned his brother on national TV, and then he turned around and get a convicted felon on his team, and then hindsight this man about how he done changed his life. What about putting your brother out there? What about helping your brother? What about helping the community where you came from, bro? You came from Burleigh. You came up first in Burleigh. So you're not really helping nobody. That's where you come from. He's trying to make himself look good.
Larry, can I ask you? Only reason why is what? The only reason why is what, Larry?
The only reason why I believe he said that he don't want to sell the city out because he know the city already don't approve of the shit that he already done.
Dang, Larry. Anyways, Larry had me trying to look for the buttons. Thank you for dumping that, Rhea. Yeah, so we're back. So Truth Nation, a fiery conversation, and I really wanted to ask Larry. I wanted to ask him about, how that sounded personal. It sounded like Larry knew him. So I wanted to ask him that, but then Larry went and said sugar, honey, iced tea. So, but Truth Nation, before we go to break, I got to tell y'all about American Family Insurance. And Monday night at Lambeau just got even better thanks to American Family Insurance. Enter the Dream Weekend Sweepstakes for your chance at the ultimate Packers game day experience. One lucky winner will score tickets to November 10th game, a pregame tailgate in Titletown, inclusive of meal and games, a signed Jordan Love jersey, Packers tours, swag, and more. Dang, your dream weekend could be waiting. Don't miss your chance to enter. No purchase is necessary. Enter by 11:59 p.m. Central Time on October 23rd, 2025. See official rules and enter at amfam.com/Packers, and always go to amfam.com for you to find an agent near you. This is Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace. I'm going to leave y'all with some nuggets and some tidbits about what could be on the horizon when it comes to our city and what we may not get. This is Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace. Keep it locked.
You are listening to Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app. Catch Truth to Power every weekday from noon to 1 p.m.
This may be another Elon Musk bureaucratic shuffle, or this may be whatever it is. These, Dr. Ken, are real consequences.
This is The Truth Unfiltered with Denise Thomas and Dr. Ken Harris.
I believe that there's going to be a step back and a rollback to some of those places that we're talking about making cuts because of the drastic outcome that can occur.
Sundays starting at 7 on 620 WTMJ and Mondays at 6 on 1017 The Truth.
For over 10 years, Crash Course has helped new drivers thrive, proudly serving Southeast Wisconsin with integrity, innovation, and a commitment to safety. They offer programs for both teens and adults led by state-licensed, safety-focused instructors. With flexible school-based pickup in communities across Southeast Wisconsin, Crash Course makes getting started simple and stress-free. Crash Course, the best choice driving school, trusted by thousands. Visit CrashCourseWI.com to enroll today.
Talk to these people in terms of how do I register for this program despite my reservations and my previous experiences of rejection?
Yes, I tell anybody and everybody that you can buy a house.
It may take somebody longer than the other person, depending on what your circumstances is with your credit and income and affordability, but you can purchase a house. The first step would be is to register for our program. You can come to our office, 7830 West Burleigh Street, or you can give us a call at 414-461-6330, or just go onto our website, hri-wi.org. Register for the first-time home buyer education workshop. That's going to be your first step to home ownership. During that class, you're going to learn everything that you need to know from A to Z, how to get approved for a house, how to look for a house and put an accepted offer, and how to close on a home.
You are listening to Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
One, two, three, ho!
Botox can do more for men than just smooth out wrinkles. It can help reduce chronic migraines, stress-related facial tension, and excessive sweating. Come out to Botox and Beers Saturday, September 13th at Sweet Talks in Menominee Falls. It's an event for men who want to feel better, perform better, look sharp without the fuss, and watch college football and get treated with Botox in a low-key, no-pressure setting of Sweet Talks, then have a brew when you're done. Spots are limited, Truth Nation, so reserve yours now at sweettalks.com. That is sweettalks.com. That's SWEETTOX.com. Y'all know what today is. Today is Tsunami Thursday as well, Truth Nation. So, listen, you need a car wash, you need to ride the wave to clean with Tsunami Express Car Wash. Milwaukee's fan favorite for a winning shine. Become a monthly member and enjoy unlimited washes for less than $1 a day. Skip the line in the fast lane and take advantage of unbeatable perks like free vacuums and tire air with every visit. With convenient locations across Midtown Milwaukee, Waukesha, Greenfield, Oak Creek, Mount Pleasant, and New Berlin, fresh, clean, and shiny is always close by. Tsunami Express Car Wash. Wash, chill, repeat. Learn more at tsunamiexpress.com. This is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. And again, I appreciate you guys with your dialogue, your conversation, especially on YouTube. As Christina says, y'all be blowing up on YouTube. I asked in a poll, or I should say we asked in a poll, what grade would you give Mayor Johnson on his job performance? 8% said A, 12% said B, 44% said C or D, and 36% said F. That's not great for the city. Also, Ed G on the talking text line said, I've heard businesses are reluctant to open new branches in Milwaukee because of the lack of police protection in response when incidents occur versus opening up a branch on the borderline of the city suburb and get faster police response and presence. I mean, yeah, that may be true. But what I want us to be notified of is this, especially when it comes to the FEMA money and listening to Cavalier Johnson's voice. See, when I asked Cavalier Johnson, and I didn't give him these questions in advance, when I asked him about the National Guard, he was ready for an answer. Truth Nation, that is a conversation that him and his staff have had. That is a conversation that they are preparing for. They are preparing for Donald Trump to have the city of Milwaukee of a list of places that they may send in the National Guard. He is preparing for all different scenarios of when they might try to leverage Milwaukee to try to get the National Guard here. And we had a conversation about whether or not we want the National Guard, but we may not have a say. And when it comes to the FEMA money, I'm going to tell y'all this right now. There was a bipartisan group of politicians from the state of Wisconsin that signed on to a letter asking the president to send FEMA assistance and send money. It didn't matter if you were a Democrat or Republican. They just cared about getting us our funds. Bipartisan politicians. Now, there was one politician that decided not to sign that. And that politician is someone who has been here on The Truth, and his name is Ron Johnson. Ron Johnson did not speak up to support the state of Wisconsin when it came to the FEMA disaster. He did not sign on asking the president, which was bipartisan, to send funds to the city of Wisconsin. Ron Johnson sat up in here and asked y'all for his vote. He asked Truth Nation in Wisconsin for his vote, and now he is sitting silent. It speaks volumes, Truth Nation. And the dichotomy of this is my boy T-Lo is helping families who are suffering from this. Meanwhile, Ron Johnson is staying silent from this. So when it comes to 2028, vote his ass out. Vote him out. He don't care about us. He don't care about nobody. He cares about himself. But Truth Nation, thank y'all so much for tuning in. I'm off tomorrow. Y'all say, oh, Kyle, go. I'll be gone tomorrow. I'm in a wedding this weekend, and I got to be part of the wedding stuff. But thank y'all so much. We have the holiday weekend, so I will be gone on Monday as well. But Truth Nation, y'all have a safe and blessed Labor Day weekend. Peace out. I love y'all, and I'll see y'all next week. The Tory Lowe Show is up next from 1 to 4. Peace out. See y'all next week.
Need a way to hype up your day?
Hey, is this Carolyn?
It is.
Congratulations, Carolyn. You just won this